Hey guys, this is Michael at Read On. This is Hemingway, the biography by Kenneth S. Lynn. Okay, a lot has been said about Ernest Hemingway, and I realize that this is just a drop in the pond. Um, but this is a book that I think must be discussed. I first initially began reading this book when I was in high school. I had so much stuff going on. First of all, trying to pass these classes that I wasn't really able to finish it. So I just really picked it up again. I began from scratch and I finished it. It's about 600 pages. Um, it's just kind of a look into his world, into Ernest Hemingway's world. And what I really liked about this book is that uh, the stories and the life is intermingled with the work so that you cannot extricate one from the other. And I like that because Hemingway had this bigger than life persona. He was a sportsman, he was an alcoholic, he was a soldier. I mean, he did everything. So I think that a lot of his biographies really tend to focus more on the life of the man, on the Hemingway myth, than on his actual work. And as somebody who, you know, have read Hemingway, I wouldn't say extensively. I've read about four of his books. The Old Man and the Sea being amongst one of my favorite books all time. Period. I thought that I wanted to know more about the work, not just the life, because I already know about the life. And I like that about this book. I like that Kenneth Lynn discussed his greater works like A Farewell to Arms and For Whom the Bell Tolls in depth. So that was something that I was definitely looking forward to. I think the drawbacks to this book, though, are focused and are based on his life. And that's the fact, for example, that, you know, um, he kind of skipped a lot of the years, you know, past past 35. He skipped some years. He will skip about 3 to 4 years. Not really skip, but he'll go through them in about 2 to 3 sentences. Now, mind you, that's 4 years of Hemingway's life. He did a lot of drinking and a lot of, author smashing. I mean, he loved smashing other authors like F. Scott Fitzgerald, hunting, went to wars and all that crazy stuff. And they just went through it like it's nothing, like 5, 6 sentences. So I did not like that about this book. And on the contrary, the first few years of his life up to his about 28th year, they focused about 3 to 400 pages on. Now, I kind of understand a little bit of the reasoning as to why let's not focus that many years towards the end, or that many pages towards the end. At that point, Hemingway, for all practical purposes, was no longer the writer that he used to be. He was an alcoholic. His life was just it was a mess. I mean, the fact that this man lived to be 60, I think, is remarkable given all the extraordinary things that he went through. He was a journalist who essentially put himself on the front lines during World War II. He went on all these African hunting expeditions where he was hunting at the big game. I'm talking about elephants, lions, rhinos. He went fishing. He was an alcoholic from about 21 to the end of his life. And I'm not talking about a problem drinker. I'm talking about all out alcoholic for all of that time. Survived 2 plane crashes, and the list goes on and on and on. I mean, I can't believe he even committed suicide because if I would have already survived all those things, I would have kept going. And that's why I think for me personally, I would have liked to see more about the final years, about what led to his suicide. But I think that Kenneth Lynn kind of figured out that, you get it. He went through all this shit, so of course he's going to commit suicide. Do I really need to focus 100, 200 pages on this? And I think that a lot of Hemingway readers, they don't want to know about that side of Hemingway. They want to know about the better things. They want to know about the guy who went bullfighting and was friends with all the bullfighters in Spain. The guy who was an expatriate during World War One in Europe, and after World War One, and hung around all these authors in Paris and stuff like that. And this book in many ways kind of reaffirmed what I've already felt for a long time. That if I would have personally known Hemingway, I would not have liked him. He was an asshole. But other than that, it's a good read. I wouldn't say this is the definitive biography on Hemingway just because of the flaws I just mentioned, but it's worth reading. All right, guys, this is Sir Michael at Read On. Stay tuned.